All right. Hello. Hopefully we're live. This is a little intimidating. First time I've done something like this, even though I said that on the last stream, but I really mean it this time because I'm going to be painting live today, but I want to make sure, first of all, that everything is good, good audio and video. See, Curtis Crump, I knew I could count on you. Thank you for that. So hey, listen, for those that don't know me, which who knows? I don't know who's going to watch this. My name is John. I like to paint dolls. And today I'm going to start the process of painting a doll live on this live stream. The doll I'm going to be painting is Wonder Woman. I'm not going to do it from this camera angle. Don't worry. I have a couple of camera angles here, and I'm also going to be changing this one to be pointing at a direction where it is showing something that's a whole lot more entertaining than watching me. But I want to talk a little bit about what's happened so far to kind of get you up to speed to where we are with this. And then I will show you the model and we'll get started on this thing. So on Tuesday, I did a live stream on this channel, my very first one, where I kind of introduced the concept of this project that I'm going to be doing. And we also started to prepare it in the computer software to print. And then I realized how boring that was, just like what you're watching right now is incredibly boring. My dogs are in here with me, so you might hear them making some noise in here. But I realized that was really boring, so we just moved on to other things. But after that stream, I got the slicing part of this project done, and I started the print. I started it Tuesday night, and it wasn't going to be done until like the middle of the day. It was 6 plates total. So I started the first 2 Tuesday night, pulled them off the printer Wednesday morning. Perfect print. Who cares what parts were on there? It doesn't matter. And so everything was going very, very well. Put the the third and fourth prints on those 2 printers Wednesday morning, and then pulled those 2 off midday, sometime around there, and then put the last 2 on. The last 2 I'll show you in a minute here. A lot of it was this base, which was very big parts, and so they weren't done until like the middle of the night Thursday morning. So when I got up Thursday morning, I pulled it off the printer and got it all washed and cured and all of that. And the print went very, very well. There was a couple of pieces that concerned me a little bit, but then everything worked out perfectly fine. So real excited about it. It was a flawless print. No, it wasn't a flawless print. I don't remember the last time I had a flawless print, but it was as close to a flawless print as I've had, and I didn't need to reprint anything, so that's good. Lately, that's rare for me. So it was very exciting to have a completely successful print like that. So that's where we are now. But that's not where we are now. That's where we were yesterday morning. But since then, I've actually gone through and done all of the sanding on all of this. Not 100%. I'm probably at about 85%. I'll do the last 15% with you. And you're welcome for that, because nobody wants to watch me sand all of this. That would be incredibly boring. So bypassed all of that, and I did it already. And in fact, you see it all over my shirt here. I was just sanding like 5 minutes ago. So just kind of last minute getting things ready and getting it ready to start doing this. So, but I do have a couple of pieces that I kept to show you how I do that. Me and the 3D painter, I see you're in here, dude. We're going to argue about this tonight. I have said it on my channel a couple of times. I'm not here to teach anybody. I don't consider myself to be an educator in this. What I hope to do is inspire. And so when I say show you how I do these things, it's not to teach you how to do it. It's to just show you how I do it. And you might be able to pick up something from that, or you might say, that guy's an idiot. He's obviously only been doing this for a very short period of time, and you'd be right. But, you know, I don't want to listen to a thing that man says. You might end up saying that. But hey, I don't care, because I'm doing this stream for fun. I do this channel for fun. I have absolutely no aspirations whatsoever of this channel being the next Ground Affected. That's insane. I wouldn't even want that. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about all kinds of things as we go on here tonight. So I can dive into that further later on if you want me to. Couple of disclosures before we continue. I don't know how long this stream is going to be. I am only going to work, or I don't know how long it's going to be tonight. I'm going to only work on this model during this live stream. So when I'm done tonight, that didn't make sense. It's not like if I don't finish it tonight, it's over and I'm never going to do it. I didn't mean that. What I'm saying is, when I'm done tonight with the live stream, I'm going to take this model, I'm going to set it to the side, and I'm not going to work on it anymore until the next stream. I want to do it all live. The entire thing live. Everything from this point moving forward, I want to do live. And there's only one part, I believe, of this project that you're going to probably wish I didn't do that. And that's this part right here, which let me switch the camera and I will show you this part more close up. This is the shield that goes on the base. And these little stars, they're not going to be any fun to watch somebody paint all of those little stars. But, you know, hey, what are you going to do? But I do have one quick thing. Well, no, I don't need to be in this position here to talk about this. Forget about all of that. I don't know what kind of order I want to do this in. I want to go through my strategy here, because my strategy for painting this got all screwed up today. And I'm going to have to talk about that here. I am going to switch the camera. I will still be on here. You'll be able to see me, but you'll also be able to see this here, the top-down shot. So this is my dilemma here. And I wish I could pop this chat out. This chat is so small on my iPad, I can't even see it. When did Jason get into 3D printing? I don't know that he is. I don't know where that came from, Curtis. Anyway, all right, listen. Here's the deal. I see a lot of familiar names in the chat from KG Tropicals. And that's exciting, but that's also like, that makes me think, why are you here? I love that you're here. Don't go anywhere. But I'm just like, man, that's cool that you're here to support me in doing all of this. But anyway, there's not going to be any fish talk tonight. I promise you that, because that's not what this is for. Which I know is probably mean, because it's like, well, you talk about 3D printing all the time in your fish streams. That's not fair. Touche. I can't really argue with you there. But listen, let me talk about this here for a second, because this is a significant dilemma. 3D painter, feel free to chime in your thoughts on this. But this is a situation, this is one arm that I have not yet sanded. I was going to do that with you, but I have a situation here. And the situation is this Diana here is going to need some masking. I don't care about that. I don't have a problem doing masking. That's part of the hobby to me. I don't care. It's not like I don't want to do that. But speak English, John, the dilemma that I have is the order in which to do it. And here's what I mean. I went out and bought some gold paints. And I did this specifically for this project and the next two projects. that I'm doing. These are not all three colors. I bought two of the same color. I bought red gold, old gold, and rich gold. And my thought process here was that I want to paint the base on this model a different gold than the parts on Diana's body. This part here on her boobs and on her waist, sorry if the word boobs offends you, but that's all needs to be painted gold too. And so obviously that is up against her chest and the red. That's fun. It's always fun to do that with resin because, you know, it's so, so rugged and durable. Anyway, this is why you edit videos. You don't do this live. But there's going to have to be some masking here. I mean, at least that's what my plan was to do this in one of two ways. Either paint the gold. I mean, I'm not going to glue this on yet, but as far as the torso goes, paint the gold and then mask that gold once it's dry, and then attach the arms, address the gaps, which the gaps, look at that. I printed beautifully. I realize there's some layer lines here and stuff like that. We'll get rid of that, but look at those gaps, would you? They look sharp. But then glue the arms on. The head, I might be able to get it a little bit better, but there is a pretty significant gap between the head and the neck. Get all of that attached, get it all, get the gaps filled, what little filling there needs to be in there, sand it all up, and then mask the gold off and paint the skin tones. And I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. And the reason why I thought that was a no-brainer is because I thought I would much rather, if I pull off the paint pull off the masking and some of the paint comes off with it, I would much rather some of that gold come off and touch up that gold than to touch up the skin tones. Because what I find myself doing is reverting back to my furniture repair days where I repaired wood furniture and leather. And if you have a blemish, you end up having to refinish the entire thing. And that's kind of how I would look at it there. If I masked it off here, and then when I pulled the paint off, it pulled off some of those skin tones, first of all, I'd be furious. And second of all, I would want to repaint this entire thing. And if I'm going to do that, then I'd also want to repaint the legs and want to repaint, well, that's it, this upper body and the lower body, because I'd want them all to match perfectly. I didn't even want to risk that. So that was going to be my strategy, was paint the gold first, then mask the gold, paint the skin tones. But here's the thing. Where'd it go? I don't know how all of you 3D painters do this, but I know how I do it. When I have a part failure, I don't throw it away. I keep it. 4 situations exactly like this. I've got a Superman head here that has paint all over it. I've got gold on his curly Q. I mean, I keep them to use them as guinea pigs and stuff like that. This part is from my, let me make sure I'm centered here, my Superman Kingdom Come that I did. I did the entire base out of transparent. It took like a bottle and a half. And this piece cracked really bad. I guess I cured it too long. I don't know. It also warped a little bit. I probably wouldn't have worried about that, but that crack, that made it too much. So I reprinted this. The second print was fine. And I didn't throw this away for this reason. I sprayed this because I plan on spraying this gold. And that's Ground Effected's fault. But I don't intend on using a brush for this at all. And not only because Ground Effected said it, but also because I've tested it myself and it sucks. But it sprays really, really nice. Except you might look at this and you might say, well, it kind of looks a little splotchy and it looks a little dull. It doesn't look all that good. Again, you would be right. The reason why it looks like that is because I tested this out. I sprayed it, I let it dry for 24 hours, and then I put masking tape on here, pulled it off, and I didn't aggressively rip it off like a Band-Aid. I very gently ripped it off, and a whole lot of the paint came right off with it. So I said, son of a bitch, this strategy that I have here is not going to work, because I'm going to go to pull that masking off of her breasts, and it's going to pull all of that gold with it. So I said, well, let me see how it does with a brush. And I don't know which one I used, one of the three. This is the results. I got to look behind me to see how this looks. This is the results painting it with the brush. And that, my friends, is 4 coats with a brush. Did I thin it with water or any mineral spirits or alcohol or anything like that? Nope, not a bit. Why? Because it is thinner than the consistency of water already, which makes it spray beautifully. But when it comes to painting it with a brush, you put some thinner in there and it would be an absolute disaster. So when I saw this, I said, well, that's not going to work. So I tried some others. This here is from this. I think I bought this bottle of paint in like 2019. Like, I've had this for a really long time. That is this one. Not great, but certainly better than that. Again, with the brush. This looks pretty good, doesn't it? Of course it does, because it's Vallejo. I am a sucker for Vallejo. I love Vallejo paints. And the reason why there's 2 is because this is straight out of the bottle. This is thinned slightly, miniature painter style. Dip the paintbrush in water and then swirl it around in the paint like mini painters do. Thin down a little bit, and I don't really even notice a difference. And that's like 3 coats drying it with the hairdryer in between. So once I did this, I said, you know what? I'm going to probably be able to get it done with a brush. Yeah, if you turn the lighting angle the right way, you may end up seeing some brush strokes. But you know what? If you do, and that bothers you, shove it up your ass. That's my philosophy on that. First of all, get out of my office. Don't come back in here. And then shove it up your ass when you're on your way out. That's my philosophy with it. But another idea would be that I may just, I may seek another alternative before we meet again for this stream. So my strategy has changed completely. And I think what I'm going to do now is paint the skin today. So I'm going to have to glue these arms up and address these gaps, which again, my God, are we being serious about these gaps here? I'm sorry, it's so hard to do this and everything's backwards. Look at that. I mean, everybody who has ever resin printed is looking at that gap right there with a lot of envy. They're like, damn, that is sharp. And it's true. It doesn't always come out that way. But it definitely did on this one, both of them. I have a little teeny, and I don't even think that's a support mark. I don't know where that came from. I don't remember how I oriented this. I might have shot it straight up in the air, so it could be a support mark, but damn it, look at that gap. That's what we want. I could almost get away with not filling that at all, and I bet you there's a lot of people that wouldn't. It's all going to depend on the glue up. I mean, if it glues up really well, I might not even need to fill it. We'll have to see. But I'm going to put a little resin on that little zit right there to get rid of that. So, but this also, it makes me feel a little bit better about it too, because I like to use this guy when I sand. It's like my first line of defense, sanding. And then I switch to these completely stupid things, but they work pretty well. And my fear was getting in here, hitting that gold, you know. So I actually feel better about doing it this way. And I really, really like painting skin tones. So it's not stressing me out at all, but it is kind of concerning when it comes to that, that gold. I'm not sure, I'm not absolutely certain what gold I'm going to use for this. But I tell you what I may end up doing. I have no conflict whatsoever using masking to mask off her skin tones, even though it's going to really suck masking the inside of her arms off. Damn it, I just thought about that. And then, let me see here. Let me think of the order here. Masking this all the skin off, including her arms, which I can just wrap paper around her arms, and painting the red, letting that dry, masking the red with Silly Putty, and painting the gold. And that way I can do it with the airbrush. That might be how I end up doing it. I don't know. We'll have to see. But as the great Brent from Ground Affected would say, enough waffle. Let's actually start doing some work here. Of course, after I show you this monstrosity of a base. I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but, I mean, it's obviously going to show up good on camera, but it's hard to orient it on camera and show it well. I realize there's some layer lines in there and all that. I'm not worried about it. I'm not building this to put it in a museum. I'm not doing it as a commission for anybody. So if you don't like layer lines, shove those layer lines up your ass. The sword for the back, if you know Wonder Woman, you know how important that sword is. And when I say the back, it goes in the back of the base. We're obviously looking at the base from the top down, so it goes in back here. And then it is covered up. I'm lucky here. I don't have to worry about painting that. I don't have to glue it up and handle that gap before I glue it up, because this Alex Ross signature little plaque here is going to cover that up. So I don't have to worry about that one bit. So that's good. But the sword was 2 pieces, which I already glued those up and then filled it with epoxy putty. And I don't even know why I used epoxy putty there. I could have used resin. But these wings, let me tell you something real quick about this base. Okay? If I stack all this up like this, excuse me, Diana, Miss Prince. This base that you're looking at right here, everything from here under, this is 20 pieces that makes up this base. It's insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the ones, I printed these standing up like this on the build plate. It took like 9 hours to print this. So what number were we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, because this was 2 pieces. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wait, no. 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 pieces for this base. But I got to give credit to Berserk Studios, one of my absolute favorite artists, sculptors. Well, they're both. They're an artist and they're a sculptor. I love Berserk so much. I would do so many things in the dark with Berserk because I love them so much. It's almost like they create models for me. The way, stupid, you idiot. The way they sculpted this, it's going to be really difficult to show. But the gaps, with the exception of this, why did I not fill that one in? That was a boneheaded move. I guess you're going to get to watch me do that too. But the way they sculpted it, the gaps down here in the rocks, this one is going right through the middle of the little leaf there. I mean, it's just, they put the cuts in the best possible areas on this base and really everywhere. And I think Wicked as a whole and Berserk kind of known for that. This gap here bothered me a little bit, but this is kind of a weird thing here because this is actually supposed to be painted gold, but it looks like stone. Okay. I would paint this to look like marble, but that's the way I'm going to paint the Captain Marvel one. So I don't want the bases to look the same. I'm going to paint this just like the renders, and in the renders, everything in here is gold. So that little gap there, it's whatever. I mean, I'm not going to freak out about it. But even the gaps in the sword, the gaps are covered up by this shield. I mean, it's just so well designed. A big shout out to those guys. They did not give me this to make this on this video. I got it because I'm a paid member of their Patreon, meaning I pay to be on their Patreon. I'm not a paid endorser of their Patreon. Why would they pay me to do it? So anyway, I think we need to stop talking and actually get some work done here, because we got to get these arms glued on, and then I'll do the head after that. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous about it because I do not want glue to come out of these seams. But if it happens, it happens. And I am going to put all of y'all to the test here. Joe Provenzano's in the chat. Whips World's in the chat. There's a lot of names that I know. They know this about me. Whips World has been to my house multiple times. They all know this about me. I am a movie reference guy. So I'm going to be making movie references. And if you pick up on them, that'll make me very happy. And the movie reference that I was going to throw in here, y'all should get this right away, especially since I know so many of y'all are similar in age to me. If the glue comes out, it comes out. If he dies, he dies. If you don't get that movie, you don't get that movie reference, you are not an American. You need to revoke your citizenship as an American is officially revoked. I'm not going to use a ton of glue on this because I do not want it to seep out. Rocky 3. Thank you, Grumpy. It's actually Rocky 4, but I can forgive you for that. Rocky 3 is the one with Clubber Lang, Mr. T, and Hulk Hogan. Rocky 4 is the one where he went to Russia and fought Drago. But you were on the right track, so I'm going to give you credit for that. Whips World got it. I saw that movie in the theaters, Rocky 4, and I don't even know how old I was. I was a little guy, and I remember jumping up and down at the end of that movie, like excited because Drago went down. That was, and you know what? If you're my age, I'm 52. If you're my age and you saw that movie when it first came out, you reacted that way too. That's what Rocky did to us. I do not like what I'm doing right now. Not that I don't like gluing up models. What I don't like is holding this in place and wondering if it's dry, because I don't believe in doing this when the joint is already together. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't even believe that it finds its way into that gap. And then I just don't. What I'm used to doing is putting glue on one side, spraying the accelerator on this side, and then, putting them together and they bond immediately. But the reason why I didn't want to do that here is because I wanted to make sure it was lined up perfectly. And I still didn't get it lined up perfectly. But I'm going to let this sit because I got to do a little bit of work on this arm before we move on, or before I glue it on, because a lot of this is going to be in her armpit. This is what I use. I get it. I remember seeing these on Ground Affected, and I was like, where the hell did he get those? I did find them on Amazon, and these things are great. They're supposed to be all different grits. All the different colors represent different grits. I don't buy it. They all seem to work the same to me. And believe me, I'm very picky when it comes to that. Having done fine furniture repair for almost 2 decades, I'm kind of picky. I'm kind of a snob when it comes to that stuff. And I don't know. It's not. They all do the same. These remove a lot of material very fast, and that's what we want it to do. But then that's why I switch to the sponge things. So I'm going to turn this on. I want to get your not reaction, but I'd like to know, is this too loud? Are you still able to hear me while I'm doing this? I'm sure it's not terrible, but it's not perfectly silent either. Now, I am going to do this. I'm not doing this for the camera. I'm doing this because breathing resin sucks. So now you're definitely not going to be able to hear me very good. But this is only going to be for a minute. My wife was actually just in here, and she was looking on my shelf behind me, and she was like, damn, there's a lot of dust in here. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I do this. So don't judge me, bro. Don't worry, I will get this mask off soon. Okay. Now I'm going to get pissed. Where is my big fat brush? I just had it here 10 seconds ago. Oh, okay. Got it. Now hopefully you can see why I didn't want to do this, all of this, on camera. This is not the most exciting thing to watch. There's a reason why all of the YouTubers that you love, if you're in this community, which I know some of you are not, and that's okay, but like 3D printer, the 3D painter, Grumpy Vet, y'all know, every YouTuber that does videos edits this part out because this part sucks. It's not fun to watch. My original idea with this live stream, and 3D Painter, you might do it this way. I don't know. I haven't seen the start of your projects. I've watched your projects later on. You know what I'm saying? Like when you've gotten a lot of them done. And so I don't know if you do 100% of your post-processing and all of that on camera. I don't know if you do that. If you do, good for you. But I didn't want to do that. And I don't know why I took my mask off. Having nightmares of that pandemic, I guess. There is a layer shift here, but it should sand right off. And I'll tell you a story about that. Okay, it edited that, or it didn't show that 3D Painter because you had a bad word in there. Hey, feel free. Say fuck all you want. I don't care. But YouTube's probably going to hold that. But you torture your subscribers. That's good. That's funny. I don't know how long you plan on hanging out in here, 3D Painter, and I sure would love to know your name. And I'm a jerk for not knowing your name. Your name to me is the 3D Painter. Remind me as we go on here to address that thing you were talking about the other night, because I asked you to. On the stream, I asked you, because I didn't want to type it in, because I didn't want to be taken the wrong way. I'm going to end up putting the mask right back on, but now I'm going to switch to this. I have dreams of someday getting one of those cordless Dremels. And what really sucks is I just had a birthday a couple of weeks ago. And when anybody would ask me what I want for my birthday, I would freeze up and be like, I don't know. And my wife bought me a beautiful new set of darts for my birthday. And we did the whole thing. We did the whole experience. We went to the dart shop. Yes, there are dart shops. I don't expect any of the people in the UK. I know there's a lot of 3D printer and painters in the UK. I don't expect any of them to be in here because it's like, what is it, like really early in the morning there? Darts is a big deal over there. Here, not so much. And so you might hear, yeah, there's a dart shop in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and be like, what? I thought I was a nerd. No, you ain't that much of a nerd. It's true. There's a dart shop, and we went there, and it's cool because they let you test drive them. And we did that whole thing on my birthday. It was wonderful. And I got a brand new set of darts for my birthday. But when she asked me earlier what I wanted, I was like, I don't know. But I should have told her I wanted a cordless Dremel. All right. So here's the thing. Remember in the very beginning of this, PegTech's here. Ha! Love that guy. I was just on his channel. I've done 2 live streams on this channel, Sean, and you've been in both of them. I feel very honored by that. When I first printed this, there was a shift, a layer shift, that went right through Diana's freaking face. I was so furious. And here's the thing. This Superman, I know the skin looks horrible on this. Again, I was experimenting. His lips are bright red. It looks ridiculous. I understand. I even painted gold on his ears. I was testing to see how it went with the brush. If you look at this though, I don't know if it's going to come across on camera. It's a massive shift going right through, all the way through his head. And I wasn't anywhere close to being done with this print. So, and it goes all the way across. So I just reprinted the head. But again, I didn't throw this away because that is extremely valuable. And so when I saw the shift that was in this head, I was pissed because I thought it was going to be the same thing. But it literally just, using this, just barely touching it, it came right off, followed it up with the polisher thing there, and it was no problem. It went away almost instantly. So I was super thankful for that. And it didn't extend through into her hair or anything, which is good. So, remind me what you asked me about. Okay, well, if you don't remember, if you don't remember what it was that you said, 3D Painter, and I'm still going to keep calling you 3D Painter, maybe you don't put your name out there. And if that's the case, oh, it's Ron. Okay, Ron. That's easy enough for me to remember because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. You never heard that one before. So, okay, as I'm gluing this up, and then I'll start handling the gaps, I can address this. We can have a little chat here, me and you, Ron. It's just me and you in here, okay? Nobody else is here. So, you said in your stream, you talked about how much it would be a dream to do this for a living. And I said to you, remind me, if you come to my stream, remind me to address this, because I don't, and the reason why I said that, the reason why I did it the way I did, it kind of worked last time, so I'm going to do this again. I didn't want to type this because if I did, I feel like it would have come across the wrong way. And I would have looked like a jerk, and I would have looked like I was responding to what you said negatively, and I didn't want that to be the case, because I encourage anyone to chase their dreams. I mean, I really do. In fact, I just got proven to me very recently that people, this is going off on a side rant that's already a side rant, people who set their minds to things can accomplish absolutely incredible things that you would never imagine that they would ever be able to do. My son is a perfect example of that. He's my stepson, but I call him my son. I just, whatever. I met him before I met my wife. It's the truth. He was best friends with my nephew. And I met him like 2 years before I met her. I heard he had a hot mom, but I didn't know. But I knew him for a bit. And he would not be mad at me for saying this, because he knows it's true. He was always the fat kid. But he wasn't like the morbidly obese kid. He was like what's his first name? Whatever it is, the kid on Stand By Me. You know what I mean? Like, not fat, but he was always the bigger kid. And, when he was in school, if he was going to try out for football, it would automatically, oh, you're offensive line. He was that kid. And in high school, he was like 6'1", 280, big boy. And he came to me as a grown man, and I don't remember exactly the words that he said to me, but he said something along the lines of, I want to start training and I want to run a marathon. And I said, oh, dude, of course you can do that. I said what any parent should. Hey, you work hard enough, you can do it. I believe you can do it, and you'll be great. It might seem like it's impossible, but it's not impossible. And in case you're wondering, this is just resin straight out. This is the same resin that I printed this out of. Sunloose standard. That's all this is. I let it sit for a minute and let it kind of level off, and it kind of does a beautiful job on its own of leveling off, and then cure it. Sometimes I use the brush, but I feel like the brush uses a lot of, leaves a lot of lines. But anyway, I don't remember how old he was. He's 30 now. He'll be 31. Is he 30 or is he 31? He's either 30 or 31. He's got his 4th child on the way. He's a grown-ass man, makes more money than I do. He's doing really well. But anyway, he was still, a very young man when he said that to me. And I said what I was supposed to say as a parent. But I was thinking, that's not, I mean, come on. Like, I want to win the lottery too, but, I never vocalized that to him because I'm not a jerk. Not to him, anyway. Unless I need to be. But I was thinking, okay, yeah, sure. Well, last week, I'm not shitting you. I mean, this was last week. He did a 50-mile run for charity to benefit an organization that supports veteran suicide prevention. Because, oh yeah, he's also a Marine Corps veteran, served in Iraq, excuse me. The dude is a freaking stud. And he is a stud, because like I said, 4th kid on the way. So, I am a believer. He has convinced me that it's true that anybody who sets their mind to something, no matter how lofty it is, I mean, you could set your mind to winning the lottery, and that doesn't mean it's going to happen, but he's proof positive that somebody can make a decision that they want to do something radical, like all he wanted to do was run a marathon, and now he's running 50 milers, and he's participating in an Ironman in October. The reason why I'm talking about all of this is because, first of all, I'm proud of him. Second of all, I am a believer in, yeah, that's dry. That's good. It cures really quick. I'm a believer in chasing your dreams. But the reason, Ron, the reason why I wanted to talk about this rather than type this is because of what I'm about to say right now. Because I did not want you to take this the wrong way and take this as me poo-pooing what you're saying. You may not know this about me. I don't know why you would know this about me. But I am a full-time content creator. That's what I do for a living. Not on this channel. My channel is KG Tropicals. I've had it since 2012. And that's how I make my living. And that doesn't really apply to what we're talking about here, because I don't think you said you wanted to be a full-time content creator. I think what you said the other day on your stream was you wanted to paint models full-time. But what I'm saying here still applies, because I've done that twice. Like I said, I make a living right now on YouTube and also a website that is supported by the YouTube channel in the aquarium industry. And there was a time, about 6 years, where I paid, I supported our entire lifestyle, my wife and I, because she's just as much on the channel as I am. We put food on the table exclusively with money made from YouTube. But the point is, that's not a flex, because believe me, I'm in no position to flex right now, because we ain't making jack shit on YouTube right now. But it just is what it is. I'm not going to even get into all of that. But the reason why I bring all of this up, and it takes me a long time, by the way, Ron. It takes me a long time to make a point, and I'm sorry. I have twice in my life, in my 52 years, I have twice made my hobby, which I was more passionate about than anything else in the world. I mean, except for my wife, my kids, all the obvious things. But I'm saying it was the thing I was obsessed the most about. I turned that into a career twice. Woodworking was the first one. I was a professional woodworker for 17 years. I'm like Steven Seagal. I've done everything for 17 years. I was a professional woodworker, owned a cabinet shop, custom cabinetry shop for 17 years. And then now I'm making a living with aquariums, which is a hobby that I've been in since I was 19 years old. And all of this is to say, there is something, Ron, that is overlooked by a lot of people when they aspire to turn their hobby into a career. That thing that's overlooked, brace yourself, because this is rough. Because you're going to want to fight me on this, and you're going to want to say, no, that's not me, that's not true, it wouldn't happen to me. But what you have to be aware of is you will be sacrificing the hobby. I know that sounds barbaric. That sounds ridiculous. No way would that be true. But I'm here to tell you it is. Now, I love what I do for a living. I work from home. I make videos about keeping glass boxes full of water. It's amazing. It's an amazing way to make a living. There's been better days, I'm not going to lie. I mean, a couple of years ago, it was a lot easier than it is now. But it's an amazing way to make a living. However, cobbler's kids never have shoes. You've heard that expression before. And it's the truth. No matter how much, I'm sorry, this is only going to be a minute. No matter how much you love a hobby, I don't know anyone who made their hobby into a career and then still participates in that hobby the way they did when it was just a hobby. Like with me, when I was a woodworking hobbyist, I would work my full-time job. I was actually a police officer, and I would work my full-time job and then come home, go down into my basement where I had my workshop, and I'd be building bird houses, I'd be building rocking horses, I'd be building furniture, all of that stuff. When I turned that into my job, I would be doing that all day. I wasn't making rocking horses and bird houses. I was making cabinets and, high-end stuff, kitchens and bookshelves and all of that stuff. And the last thing in the world I would want to do when I got home was go down, which I didn't have my shop in the house anymore because I had a shop that was a 2,500 square foot shop that was outside of my house, and I had to drive to work every day, which is not like it is now. But when I would get home, that would be the last thing I would want to do. I don't want to do any more woodworking. That's what I've been doing all day. And that's kind of how it is now with aquariums. I love aquariums. I'm so fortunate to make a living from aquariums. But when I've been messing around with fish all day long, and I've been packing fish, shipping fish, packing fish food, answering questions all day long about people's aquariums and all of this, the last thing I want to do when I'm done working for the day is dick around with aquariums anymore. I mean, that's just reality. So I just want you to be aware of that. I believe it would be the coolest thing in the world to paint models for a living. Like I said, I have no desire to do that. I don't want to lose this hobby. I need a hobby desperately. I didn't know I needed a hobby until I found this one. And then I realized, holy shit, I've really been, I needed this. I didn't know it at the time, but I do. I did. And I've got too much experience with not walking away, but taking a hobby to the next level and then losing that hobby. I've got too much experience with that. I have no desire to ever do that again. So, I don't know. I don't know if anything I'm saying makes sense, but just understand, if you ever do find yourself, and you have the talent, Ron, I mean, you're exceptional at what you do. And I'm not just saying that because you say nice things to me. No, I mean, it's the truth. You're very, very good at what you do, and you're certainly capable, as far as your talent goes, to do it for a living. But just know, if you do that, just be prepared. Are you willing to lose it as a hobby? Because you will. You may not think so, but it will happen. Because you'll be doing it all day. You'll be like, I don't feel like staring at resin all day anymore. Even if I am staring at Diana Prince, I don't want to stare at her all day. I'm done with that. I've been doing it all day. I don't want to do that anymore. It's tough. So hopefully you understand now why I didn't want to type all that, because there's no way I would have been able to type all that and not have it come across as like I'm some kind of arrogant prick, because I promise I'm not. And you hear me, so that's good. I worked in the aquarium industry for 12 years. Well, how about that? This is a small world. But you want to know what would impress me even more? If you knew who I was from that. Then I'd be like, man, this guy is serious. No, I'm not that guy, I promise. I don't care. Anybody that has met me or hung out with me enough knows that me and ego, we're not a thing. I try to avoid all of that stuff. I can't, I don't know what I'm trying to say now. But anyway, I do believe from the bottom of my heart, Ron, you have the talent to do that for a living. I've been doing this for 7 months, so what do I know? I mean, I'm just an idiot that likes to paint dolls at night. But so maybe you were just saying that just as a conversation. I don't know. But I've heard other YouTubers talk about it too. And I've just really wanted to say all of this to them. Like, hey, hold on. Pump the brakes there a little bit. Because you might not really know what you're getting into. Because it does suck when you realize, like, oh man, that's not my hobby anymore. That was really cool when it was my hobby. But now, now I don't do it as a hobby anymore. What in the hell? I just found a big old zit on Diana's back. We're going to have to take care of that. Yeah, I have to attach this head. That looks nice, doesn't it? It's a beautiful sculpt. I thought, I'm going to be honest with y'all, when this printed out for the first time, I said, oh, shit. When I saw this, it's so hard to know whether it's on camera or not. So this is an eagle. We know this. But I don't know why, but this part, I didn't realize that it curls forward like that. And so I was like, damn it, the print curled. It got warped. I was like, I'm going to have to sand that off. But thankfully, I looked at it on the renders and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. It's supposed to be like that. That's going to make it real fun when it comes time to mask everything. But anyway, I don't know why I keep putting it. Just glue it on, John. What is your problem? Now this one, I am going to use my strategy. I have been using cyanoacrylate glue and accelerators since 2004. Again, I am practically Steven Seagal. I've done everything for 20 years. This stuff, CY glue and accelerator is like liquid gold for furniture repair people, because my business was going to people's houses, fixing their furniture, getting paid, and then getting out and going to the next customer and repairing their furniture. So if I have something that needs to be glued together and it's not structural, like I wouldn't glue a chair with CY glue, like a chair leg. I wouldn't glue a chair leg together. But, I would come across things all the time where it was like a little decorative piece, a little chip, something like that. And I would want to glue that back into place. I would use this, and that would just get me in and out faster. I was just going to make a joke, but I'm not going to do it. Now, damn. Okay. I'm a little bit concerned about getting this gap. I don't want to overfill this because, oh, that's good. Overfilling this would be a problem. On my Supergirl video that 9 people watched, I gave a little tip on that. There you go, 3D painter. I'm an educator. And the tip that I gave was about how to make joints like this disappear. And it's a damn good tip. But I don't know if I can implement that here because there is not a defined line like there was with Supergirl. Because I was just able to take this resin all the way down to her suit. And this one, I'm not going to paint resin all the way down to her boobs. That would be ridiculous. In my 4 decades of drawing breath, okay. 4 decades, my ass. It's more than that. I know you. I've never known anyone to call someone to fix their furniture. The fact that you made a living at that is fascinating. Yeah, it's true. And you'd be surprised at the stuff rich people do. Because that was something I had never done either. I was into antique restorations and I was into woodworking. And then I found out that there are people that do that. And I was like, huh. And that's what got me into that. So yeah, before then I didn't know that people did that either. But most of the work that I did was warranty work. You go to the furniture store and you buy new furniture and they sell you the extended warranty. And then, you know, they tell you, yeah, anything ever goes wrong, they'll just replace your furniture. No, that's a lie. They don't replace your furniture. They send me out. Well, not anymore, but they send a technician out to fix it. And then if they can't fix it, then you get your furniture replaced. So they're right in that they will do that, but it's like it has to get there first, if that makes sense. Like it's not like, okay, I don't like my furniture anymore, you got to send me new stuff. They don't do that. But if it's a situation where it's the point of no return, that will happen. They will replace it. But it was my job to not let that happen. And so I made a lot of people very angry because they would be like, oh, I'm going to get brand new stuff, right? Nope, I'm going to fix it instead. And I'm going to be in your house for an hour and 15 minutes and I'm going to get paid $300 for that because the warranty companies were very much overpaying for a while and then they got smart and stopped doing that. But it's a particular skill that is worth a lot of money. So how come I don't do it anymore? I don't know. I'm a man that has done a lot of things, but never have I ever claimed to be smart. All right, I got to add a little bit more resin to her throat because I do not want that line. And I think I might be able to get away with this as is. Oh shit, is that, nope, that was liquid, good. I might not have to sand this at all. If there are resin police watching that are going to yell at me for not wearing gloves right now, you're right. You're right. Again, I've never claimed to be smart. So, okay, listen, y'all. My non 3D printer friends, I don't know what you're going to ask. But at this point, Ron's familiar with this. He knows because he finds himself in this position too. At this point, I'm going to be doing a lot of things that I'm not really going to have a lot to talk about with it. Not for the rest of this project, but for a little bit here moving forward. So feel free to give me something to talk about in the chat that's not fish, because I'm not here to talk about fish. Don't you do it. Ex-Cali Kev is here, isn't he? Because he does that to me. I don't think I can fit this in there. I got it. All right. I'm not saying ask me questions so that I can teach you. All I'm saying is give me something to talk about, because there's resin police. Oh, there absolutely, well, I think there is, Whip, because Ground Affected talks about them all the time. And see, that's what y'all need to understand about me. I am a tremendous fan of Ground Affected, because first of all, he's great at what he does. And second of all, let's analyze this for a second, shall we? I said I'm not going to talk about fish, so I'm not going to use fish as an example. But when we're talking about YouTubers, or I shouldn't even say YouTubers, content creators, there are people that are really good at making videos, but they're maybe not the best painters. There's people that are not good at either. You know, make halfway decent videos, and you know, they can put paint on a model, but are they going to compete for a golden dragon? No. But then sometimes you have people who are exceptional painters, but not necessarily the best video makers. Like, they're really good at painting, but they don't excel at making videos about the painting that they're doing really good. Or you have somebody who's dog shit at painting, but really good at making videos about it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of that. There's both ways. Where am I? I've only made 3 videos. Don't ask me. I don't know. But as a professional YouTuber, I see these things. It is extraordinarily rare for there to be somebody that's good at both. Somebody who excels at painting, like they're elite at painting, and they're also elite at making videos about that painting. I put Ground Affected in that category. That man is brilliant at both sides of this hobby. And that's extraordinarily rare. Like, you have the same likelihood of winning the lottery as you do hitting both of those things. You know who else hits that? Shelf Candy. There's not a bigger fan of Shelf Candy than me. And I'm here to tell you right now, Curtis Crump, Whips World, Joe Provenzano, all of my fish people that are in here right now, I'm telling you right now, go to YouTube. You're on YouTube already, but don't do it now because we're hanging out. But after the stream, type in shelf, like Shelf Candy. It's not, I don't need to spell it for you. I promise you, even though you're not a model painter, you will love that guy's videos. They are absolutely next level. They're so funny. All of the little innuendos that he makes, he uses, I don't know how he does it. I'm assuming he uses some type of dubbing software and puts this very mature British accent dude, uses the voice of this guy. And that makes it really funny on its own. But then the jokes that he tells and the way he describes things and stuff, hilarious. That guy is the elite of the elite, as far as I'm concerned, as far as making videos. Painting, I think he's probably at the same level as Ground Affected. I think they're both way up there as far as their talent for painting. They're extraordinary, both of those guys. And there's a lot of guys and a lot of women on YouTube that are exceptional painters. I don't mean to say that those two are the only ones, but those two just happen to be my favorite. And when you know, Ground Affected uploads twice a week, and I absolutely, like, Lisa knows, Thursdays and Sundays he's uploading, so we're not eating dinner together. I'm gonna eat my dinner in my office, and I'm gonna watch the most recent Ground Affected video. But Shelf Candy, it's like an event happens in my house. Like, when I get the notification, he's one of the rare YouTube channels that I have notifications turned on for. When he uploads, I'm like, drop everything. I have to go watch this video. I'm such a dork like that, but I have to agree with you, Whip. John is an amazing talent. Oh, come on. What am I an amazing talent at? Well, Joe, Shelf Candy is kind of the same thing. I have a video gaming channel. I watched that is good at the whole package, the games, the commentary. Yeah, I mean, it's so rare to find somebody that is good at both. You want to know who else is really good at both? And I'll tell you, they're beyond good at both. Let me put this camera back because don't nobody want to stare at me all night. Squidmar. Squidmar is at another level because even though what I do here, yes, I just wiped resin on my pants. What are you going to do about it? It was a teeny tiny little speck. Give me a break. My God, what do you think I am? But seriously, I have had resin dust on my hands and put my hands in my mouth because obviously I am a put my hands in my mouth guy, and it's not fun to do. That sucks. Don't do that. It is not an enjoyable experience for your tummy. I felt ill for days after that. So I understand I'm very negligent when it comes to my handling of resin. I know this. I try to do my best, but you know, I get a little drop on my finger. I'm not going to go to the hospital. I'm not going to freak out and put on a hazmat suit and all. Screw all that. And let me tell you something. All these YouTubers that put on giant respirators and all this bullshit when they're working with resin, they're doing that for the camera. They're not doing that shit in real life. Give me a break. When they're sitting in their shop or in their studio by themselves, they're not putting that big ass respirator on. Who are you kidding? They're doing that so people aren't mean to them in the comments. My friend Pectech, who I'm not sure if he's still in here. Still in here, Sean? You don't have to say anything. It's okay. He asked me earlier today about these and these. And I just sent him a picture of that box because I don't remember what they're called on Amazon. And I don't remember how I found them. But if I was going to find them now, I would go to my Buy Again page on Amazon. Okay, I think we're ready. Start putting some paint on this broad. I don't know how well you can see it, But there was a seam that went right through here. This is her hoo-hoo cape, and this is her butt cape. There was another one on here. And I don't know why. I don't know why Berserk did that. I don't know why they didn't just make this all as one piece. But I don't question the almighty Berserk. I found them on Amazon, searched FPPO sanding discs. Okay. See, there you go. This is why this is a beautiful thing, doing these streams like this, because you learn information like that. So I can't change the way I do things for you. I can't do it. I refuse to bend my rules for you. I'm going to paint this model the way I want to do it. And the way I want to do it is by following my rule. And my rule is that I do bases first. And I'm not going to lie to you. It hurts. It hurts a lot to do bases first, because I didn't get into this hobby to paint bases. I got into this hobby to paint Superman. So it's not easy to do that. But the reason why I do that, I believe I explained this in a video, but guess what? I got as much time to kill tonight as I want. And as long as you're here, you know, whatever. I don't know what I was trying to say there. But I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. If y'all ain't giving me something to talk about, I'm going to talk about whatever I want to. And, I remember where I was going. I mentioned it in the Supergirl video. I like to do bases first because I don't want to half-ass the model. Or God damn it, I don't want to half-ass the base. I found myself very early on in this hobby. I mean, I'm still very early on in this hobby. I just started in this hobby literally Christmas Day. You know what? I don't even know why I need to do that. I'm going to clamp this on the rope because I'm going to hand paint the lasso. But I found that if I did the figure first, I didn't do it on purpose, but I would kind of bullshit my way through the base because I just wanted it to be done. Because it's like, I've got the cool part done. So now I want to see everything completed. I just want to get this done. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not like racing the clock, but I want to get it done because I want to see what it looks like. And so I would bullshit my way through the bases, and I didn't like that one bit. So I do the bases first so that I don't bullshit the base, because I am Rob Base and I came to get down. R.I.P. If you know, you know. May want to move the camera so we can see the hat that fell. See what the hell, what are you talking about, Joe? What are you talking about? Joe, are you trying to piss me off? What did I go off camera? I don't know. I actually know this square. I need to keep everything in the square so that it's centered in the camera. I'm just not very good at that. I get all in my own way here. Thank you, Grumpy. Grumpy, did we just become best friends? You get my references. I love it. And I love your dog shit comments. I believe Grumpy said something along the lines of, in one of my videos, it might have been my very first video. I've only got 3, so it's not hard to figure out which one's which. I made a comment about my airbrush being dog shit, and he loved that. He loved that I called it dog shit, and he commented about me calling it dog shit. And so that's been the running joke now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint the base. Because again, I came to get down. This base should be very easy because it's spray it gold, slap some Nuln Oil on it, throw some top coat, either satin or gloss. I think I'm going to go satin. And it's done. Should be. Should be. But I do think, I don't know. See, I have a lot of experience spraying acrylic paints. It wouldn't be quite decades yet, but I sprayed acrylic paints and lacquers and stains and water-based stuff, and which that's acrylic, but I sprayed all kinds of shit for 17 years as a woodworker. And I was also, I'm sorry, I told you I'm like Steven Seagal. As part of my furniture repair, I also repaired leather. And when you repair leather, you use paints, finished leather. You actually paint that. And so it was special paints that are flexible. And I would spray those with airbrushes. I had a siphon style Badger, 2 of those. And then I had a couple Iwatas. And then I got out of the industry. But I still had one of my Iwatas, which I still have it. I don't think I have it right here. I still have the case for it. I have one of them in here. No, this is the bullshit that I bought off at Hobby Lobby. No, this is the Neo. My bad. So I have a Iwata Neo. I've had this for a very long time. I don't know how long it is. It's been a long time. But the reason why I don't use it, it's a great airbrush. The reason why I don't do it is because I can't, or the reason why I don't use it, I can't stop breaking the nozzles on this thing. It has the smallest nozzle anyone's ever seen. It's ridiculous. And I either drop it or break it. And so I don't use it anymore. But what I was getting at was I don't have a lot of experience spraying gold. Hopefully one of my 3D painter friends in here can, I don't know if you want to throw any advice my way. I've painted plenty of things gold. Matter of fact, hang on a second. Oh, I'm not obsessed with Wonder Woman. I'm not. But I did this Wonder Woman. She has a lot of gold on her. She has dust on her too. I'm really happy with the way the gold turned out on here. I don't remember what gold I used, so there's that. But it looks really good. What the hell did I use on this? I don't remember. But for her suit, or her costume, her outfit, whatever you want to call it, I just used the Vallejo stuff. I think that was like the second or third model I did. Was that Lynda Carter or Wonder Woman? And the reason why I did that is because I grew up watching Lynda Carter as Wonder Woman. And I also did a Christopher Reeve around the same time and a Michael Keaton, you know, like trying to get all of the Holy Trinity together with the actors that played them back in the day when I was a kid. Although I was very much an adult when Michael Keaton was playing Batman. No, I wasn't. Who cares? Why am I arguing with myself? Adam West would probably be the one that would be more fitting with Wonder Woman, and I've done that too. I've done an Adam West too. But I feel like that's the extent of my gold painting. No, I did Iron Man badly. Not very happy with the results of that. It did not go the way I wanted it to. I used the wrong paints. But anyway, what I'm getting at is this is new territory for me, painting this much gold on something. And the reason why I bring that up, did you get a new airbrush, John? I did. We're going to talk about that. I got two. The reason why I bring that up is because I entertained using two different golds on this base. I entertained using, I think I was going to use like old gold. Yeah, old gold. And then from the top, do the rich gold. But I don't think I like that idea. Here's the way I look at it. And then we're going to start painting this thing. I feel like if gold is done right, I don't know if I'm going to do it right. I'm going to try. If gold is done right, it shouldn't need highlights. Because the light, the real light, will serve as the highlights. Does that make sense? And I do want this to have some sheen to it. It may have sheen straight out of the bottle. I don't know. But I feel like it shouldn't need highlights. You shouldn't need to use three golds, a mid-tone and a shadow tone and a highlight tone. You shouldn't need to do that with gold. That's my opinion anyway. But like I said, I definitely lack experience when it comes to gold. But you know what I don't lack experience in? Spraying primers. And spraying primer is something that I would normally do a specific way, which I'll be changing for this model. And I'm changing it for you. Because I would normally use, which camera are we on? Yep. One of these. I love this. This is amazing. It's incredible. It lays down like a dream. It is fantastic. And I guess it doesn't. It's fucking $25 a can. Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. Are we crazy? $25 a can? Get out of here. I don't know who you think I am. So this, I just can't with that. $25 a can, and you go through it pretty quick. That's madness. So I use this. This is like $6 a can, and it's great. It's not as good. It doesn't powder like Citadel does. If you don't know what that means, when it dries and you go to sand it, because you always find flaws after you prime it, it powders like almost like a lacquer will, where this will kind of get like boogers and it's kind of a little sloppier. So you just hope when you use this, you don't have to touch it. You hope that you did your post, what's it called? Whoever, whatever. Processing. God almighty, why was I forgetting that? You hope that you did a good job with that, and then you don't need to sand it after priming. But if you do, it sucks. I have one more gap to fill here, which I did not realize I had left it. And I'm going to do that real quick because I don't want to paint it until I do. And Joe, are you able to see what I'm doing? Are you going to keep complaining to me? $19.99 at my local hobby shop. Yeah, so, okay. It's $25 if you buy it at a Warhammer store, which I call those nerd stores because it's fun to call them that. I have one of those stores about 20 minutes from my house, and that's where I buy all of my Citadel paints. And sometimes if, I had a good month, I'll buy a bottle of Chaos Black because it really is fantastic. I mean, that stuff is great. But it's like special occasion kind of thing. Not that what we're doing right now is not a special occasion. It certainly is. But, geez, I've spent enough money with this hobby already. But in my defense, I do have what I call like a side job. And that's where the money comes from to support this hobby. And my fish friends know what that side job is. It's the podcast. I have a podcast that I do with one of my best friends, again, about aquariums. And that money that I make from that was spit. That wasn't resin. Get off my back. The money I make from that, I give some of it to Lisa. Sometimes I give some of it to my mom. And then I get to spend the rest on doll stuff. I'm not some kind of a hero. Don't look at me that way. It's a unique circumstance when it comes to my mom. Just forget that I even brought it up. My mom is not like, whatever. Just forget that I said that. Okay, please? I love my mom. She's the best. That got awkward, and I'm sorry. But even if we have a really good couple of months with the podcast, I ain't trying to spend $25 for a bottle of primer. I'm just not. It's good, really good, but I'm not going to do it. I pass up the Warhammer store here because they're more expensive than the little mom and pop stores around here. I live, Grumpy, I don't know where you live, and I'm not going to ask you where you live because it's none of my business. I live in rural North Carolina. And when I say rural, I'm talking rural. And I live in one of those places where everything is at least 45 minutes away. And so I consider myself lucky to have a Warhammer store that sells all the Games Workshop stuff. And that's the only thing that I have that's within like, God damn it, within like an hour and a half of me. I got to do this quick because it keeps wanting to drip down. I have 2 Hobbytown USAs that are about an hour and 15 minutes away from me. Well, no. One of them's about an hour and 15 minutes away. The other one's about an hour and 45 minutes away. If we're going to my daughter's house, we'll go to the one that's farther away because it's actually like on the way to her house. Take advantage of that opportunity. But the other one is a lot closer. And I go there quite a bit. Hobbytown sells Vallejo. They sell Tamiya. They sell AK, but it's not the same AK you see YouTubers using. So I haven't bought any of it. I don't really know what it is. I think it might be a different type of nerd that buys that paint. I don't know. And then there's another place that is it's a bona fide nerd store that sells everything nerd. Like everything from Pokemon to Games Workshop to D&D, Lord of the Rings, Funko Pops. They sell everything. And they sell Army Painter, Monument, Citadel, because everybody sells Citadel. And what's that brand? It's like I'm a dork or total dork or you're a dork or something dork. Big fat dork. I don't know what that super dork, whatever that brand is. I don't know what the name of that brand is. But they sell that too. But they always seem to be really, really low on inventory of that one, so I haven't ever bought that brand. Let me ask you a question. Did I just do all of that off camera? I probably did. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. I told you I'm a YouTuber for a living. And it's the truth. But I'm not a YouTuber that does model painting videos for a living. Obviously. Sorry about that. There was like 21 people watching and now there's 15. That's probably why. Because I suck at doing this. Or maybe they were offended by me calling it a nerd store. I personally think it's hilarious to call it a nerd store. And I'll say it right to your face. Yeah, that looks terrible, but that's on the back, so it's not going to be a huge concern. It's filled, and I'm not going to look like an asshole for not filling it. All right, let's get back to talking about primers. The reason why I'm not going to use those primers today is because I don't want to spray those in here. Normally, I would take them outside. I don't have to, but it really stinks up my office. This office, this is my office where I work. I eat meals when Ground Affected uploads videos and Shelf Candy. My dogs are in here. I don't want to be spraying those nasty ass primers in here. This little spray booth that I have ain't gonna cut it when it comes to getting those smells out of here. So I would normally take them outside, but I can't do that with you. So instead, I'm gonna paint these with primers that are safe to paint in here. When I paint primers for skin tones, I use this, Kaleido Gray. I love this stuff. It's fantastic. I'm not saying that because they sent it to me for free. And don't freak out because they sent it to me from my other channel, not this one. Because I 3D print and paint fish for my fish channel. And I mean, it's fun. I enjoy doing that. And so if I'm going to show stuff, it's an opportunity for a manufacturer to show their products, and it's worked out pretty well. So that's how I've gotten my airbrushes, and that's how I've gotten my this Kaleido paint, and then also my printers. Both of my printers came from that. I have an interesting story, though, when it comes to my airbrushes. And I'm going to move this camera. It might be a little bit jolting here for you, and I apologize, but I have to do it because what I want to do is move this to the airbrush booth. Okay. There we go. And then now I can talk about my airbrushes. So I was using that Neo for a bit, and then I broke the nozzle on it. I hate this airbrush so much, I put it in my closet. I bought a bullshit airbrush from Harbor Freight. It was terrible. The black one, Black Widow, stupid. It was the really dumb choice to do that. And then I was very fortunate to have 2 airbrushes sent to me. One of them is this guy here. This is the Mobius 3.0 from Gallery. And yes, it's pronounced Gallery. If you want to know for a fact that it's pronounced Gallery, all you got to do is go to their YouTube channel and you will hear them pronounce it Gallery. But if I didn't know that, I would struggle too because it's spelled really weird. So this airbrush, I'm having a problem with it right now. And hopefully, maybe Grumpy, maybe you may know, or Turbo Dork, thank you. It's just metallics? I didn't know that. Okay. Well, shit, if I'd have known that, I'd have bought that instead of this Vallejo stuff. I think this Vallejo stuff is good, but anyway, Hobbytown is where I get primer for $19.99. Oh, see, I've never bought it there. I've only bought it at a Games Workshop store. 3D Painter, Ron, and Grumpy. Those are the only names I recognize from the 3D printing and painting community out there. Maybe you can advise me on this. I've been working with airbrushes since 2004. I've never had this problem. And I got to be honest, it's making me really mad because this is a really, really nice airbrush. I like this a lot. And it's not because they sent it to me for free. It's because I really like it. Let me show you what it does. And then let me tell you that the reaction that you're automatically going to have is wrong. Okay? Just know that. Just to test it out, I'm going to put water in here. Watch what happens. Turn the air up a little bit on it. And now it's not going to do it. I guess I didn't put enough water in there. See that? Now, like I said, your immediate reaction is, John, you're an idiot. You say you've been working with airbrushes since 2004. Obviously, the reason that's doing that is because the nozzle's clogged. I'm going to tell you, no, it's not. Not only have I cleaned the nozzle on this immaculately, but I was very fortunate. Gallery sent me 2 nozzles. This is their 0.5. And I just totally took that apart in the wrong way because I'm doing this live in front of 48,000 people. I'm aware it's not 48,000, but my fish friends, they get that reference. Not only, or I took this apart, cleaned the nozzle. I mean, there ain't a damn thing in that nozzle. It is immaculate. I know you can't see what's in it, but I also put the 0.3 nozzle in it, and it did the same thing. That is precisely what ends up happening when your nozzle is clogged. But I'm here to tell you, the nozzle is not clogged on this airbrush. It did the same thing with both nozzles. And I don't know. Seen that before, but Lord, trying to remember what the user did to fix it. Yeah, there's got to be something. Something is making the air, instead of shoot that way, it's shooting it backwards. And normally, you know, when I first had that happen, I was like, oh God, the nozzle's clogged. Like, welcome to airbrushing. And I cleaned it out really good, and it still did it. I said, son of a bitch. I cleaned it again, still did it. I turned the air pressure way up, thinking, well, maybe there's just some little piece of shit in there, and I'll just blast it out of there. And it kept doing it. And so I swapped out the nozzle and the needle, same thing. So I'm going to reach out to Gallery. I feel really bad about it because I really do like this airbrush. And, you know, I've had it for like a month, and I haven't done a video on it yet on my other channel. And I've shown it on this channel. As a matter of fact, I've used it on several projects on this channel, but the videos haven't uploaded yet. But they're not like, let me introduce you to the Gallery Mobius. I want so badly to call it Morbius, but it's not like an in-depth review of it, which I'll be doing more of on my other channel. But all hope is not lost because of this sumbitch right here. Holy shit. Wow. Now I know, is it 3D Painter? Are you the one that has, do you have one of the Squidmar? I think you have one of the Squidmar airbrushes. One of those beautiful H&S with the etched, I think you have one of those. It's either one of the Squidmar ones or just one of those really fancy Infinities. This is my first experience with what would be considered a high-end airbrush. The Harder & Steenbeck Evolution 24 CR Plus 2-in-1. Oh my God. This thing is a goddamn rock star. I cannot tell you how much I love this thing. It is exceptional in every single way. If this is H&S's like mid-range airbrush, I can't even imagine what those Infinities must be like. They must be like, they'll blow you while you're using them or something. Like, I don't even know how it could be better than this. It's the same thing with resin for me. Like, I don't want to go on a whole rant about it, but like, I don't understand why some resins cost $12 and other ones cost $36. I haven't figured that out yet. I've also never tried them. So maybe if I try them, I'll have the same reaction I have with this. Like, oh, I get it now. Now I understand why this airbrush is way more money than, you know, even your Iwata Eclipses and stuff like that. I get it. I understand with that. I don't understand it with resin though. But for fuck's sake, we're almost 2 hours into this and I'm just now starting to paint. I'm going to have to get better at this whole live streaming thing because this is really dumb. These are the two primers that I'm going to use. This is $7 at Hobby Lobby. I don't even know if you can see that. This is the new Hobby Lobby. I don't know what the brand is called. I think it's called like Nint or something. I don't know. But it's from Hobby Lobby. And this is the Kaleido. They sent me this with the airbrush. I love it. It's great. You can use it straight out of the bottle. Not a fan of these caps because of that. All of these caps do that. You know, it is what it is. I love this stuff. You don't have to thin it. You just put it in the airbrush and go. Love that. But I want to use this because I want to use black for the base. I want to prime the base in black, but I like to do the skin tones in gray. Please, I beg you, do not ask me why I like to paint the skin tones in gray. or prime the skin tones in gray, because I don't. It's a feel thing. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I am somebody. This is why I hate these caps. I mix straight up in the airbrush because I'm a savage. And I ain't got time to mix it up in a little cup and then pour it from the cup into here. Who has time for all that? People who do this right. But the Hobby Lobby primer is supposed to be, according to the manufacturer, according to Hobby Lobby, or whoever's manufacturing it, supposed to be airbrush ready paints. It's not. It's not. I mean, you still have to thin it 50-50. And I think it even says right here, tip, mix 1:1 to thinner ratio on first use. For subsequent uses, adjust ratio as needed based on desired spray results. Which means airbrush black primer, it's bullshit. You got to buy this too. It's only $4, so come on. I mean, it's a real first world problem. But don't advertise something as airbrush ready and then you need to thin it 50-50. That's stupid. Okay. Another decision that I have made here, which I may regret, I don't know if I'm going to regret it or not, but my intention was to paint all of these parts individually on the base because my thought process was I don't want to when you have it all together, getting down in those cracks and stuff like that is going to be tough. But no, it's really not. I don't even know why I was thinking that. So I don't have to glue it up, but I can paint it all together. Because otherwise, where the hell am I going to have it dry? Hopefully, you can still hear me, but it's finally time. It's finally time to get this going. We've been talking about it long enough. I put in the thumbnail and the title, Painting Wonder Woman, and it's been an hour and 53 minutes, and I just sprayed the first dot of paint onto here. It's pretty stupid. The only thing I wish this primer had that it does not have is that sweet, sweet Vallejo smell. My model painter friends know exactly what I'm talking about. Vallejo paint smells delightful. I don't care who you are. I love the smell of that paint. It smells delicious. This doesn't smell like anything at all. It doesn't even smell like paint. It just doesn't smell like anything. John, isn't that a little reckless? You're not wearing gloves. All the other YouTubers wear gloves when they spray. Yeah, I don't care. Because this is acrylic paint and it washes right off. And you look cooler. I mean, I will admit, the black glove look is pretty damn cool. It's a cool look. But you look cooler when you got paint on your hands. It looks like you've been doing some work. Look like a working man. My dad used to come home from work every day. First thing he had to do was wash his hands. And that was respectable. He worked hard for a living, harder than I do. He passed in 1997, but if he was still alive today, he would say, boy, that's what he called me, boy. What the hell are you doing? You're sitting on your ass, painting dolls, talking to strangers on the internet. What's wrong with you? And I would say, Dad, I'm expressing myself. Don't hurt my feelings. Support me. You're my father. You should support me. You don't want me to be on medication, do you? But in all seriousness, he would absolutely say that. If I was to say, yeah, I make videos about aquariums, he would say, you do what? Like, my mom is 80 years old, and she probably still couldn't tell you what I do for a living. I think she's still a little upset that she can't tell her friends at church and at her water aerobics classes. She can't tell her friends that I'm a police officer anymore. I think that's a little disappointing. She's not disappointed in me, but I think she still wishes she could tell her friends that. All right, so yeah, I can paint that just like that. How convenient. Spray it right on the hands. Who cares? It's acrylic. It's not going to hurt you, and it's going to make you look very manly. How am I going to flip this over? See, this is where I question myself sometimes, like, what was your thought process on that? Look at that. Resourceful. Okay. I am a former furniture finisher, so you have to understand that's why I spray the way I do. If you're not an airbrush user, you're probably like, what do you mean? A lot of people do it different ways. What most people do with their airbrush is they hold it down and they spray the whole thing. But the whole thing, I can't get past that. Like, that is from my furniture repair days, my furniture finishing days. And it's just one of those things that's just what I do. So I have a bit of an issue now because I don't have anywhere to put this or any of these other parts, because I'm working on 3 models right now, which I never do, but I'm doing that right now because I'm doing this one exclusively as only while I'm live streaming. So my normal little alligator clip holder things are occupied by other stuff right now. So I don't know where I'm going to put all this stuff. You know, you got to get creative sometimes. Son of a bitch. Especially when you mix up way more primer than you need. I'm weird about not wanting to throw paint away. So I will find shit to spray before I will throw away paint. Because I'm just a cheap bastard like that. So I'm going to find a way. Does everybody do this? I do this. Do you mix up your paint this way? That's what I do. I will find a way to get paint on the remainder of the pieces of this base, one way or another, so that I don't have to throw that paint away. I love so much that, is this going to blow right off? No. I love that Berserk included the name plaque for Alex Ross. That's what this is here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll show it to you on the top-down camera in a little bit. But it's Alex Ross's signature. He is the artist that created this Wonder Woman. Not the sculptor that made the 3D model, but the artist that created it. Like, it's his design that he used in the Kingdom Come comic book. Son of a bitch. I need to buy more places to put things. I don't know if priming this in black is the right choice, because I am going to have to paint that silver. But guess what? It's too late now. That's how you make decisions in my world. All right, I got one more piece for the base. And that's this big sumbitch. And I don't know where I'm going to put it to dry. That's not bad. But you know what? Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Okay. So, I guess we'll just paint one side at a time. Because what else am I going to do? Problem solving. Don't run out while I'm painting this. That'll really piss me off to have to mix up a tiny bit of primer, finish these stupid wings. Don't run out. Don't run out. Nice. Ah, listen to that. Every airbrusher knows that sound. That's the right time to hear that sound. All right. That's probably a better angle there anyway, isn't it? Okay, so now that I have all these massive base pieces in my way, I understand that I said I like to get the bases done first. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that with this model. I think I'm going to have to work on everything at the same time and just have the discipline to not half-ass the base. Because I want to start putting some primer on Diana herself. And that's what everybody came to see, right? Now, while I'm getting ready for this, I want to send out another very sincere shout out to a YouTube channel who I have already discussed in this live stream. And it's because this YouTube channel has done the impossible, in my opinion. I hate to keep saying it this way because then I sound like an arrogant prick. But as somebody who is a YouTuber for a living, not with this channel, don't get it bent out of shape. I have not done 3 videos and then all of a sudden I'm able to make a living from it. That would be ridiculous. No. My other channel, I have appreciation for people that do incredible things on YouTube. And I believe 3D printing and painting friends, I believe something happened this week in the YouTube game that's going to change the game. Because I believe that what this YouTube channel has done has ramped up what's possible on YouTube. And the funny thing is that it's a channel that I'm not even necessarily interested in what it is that they do. Because they paint miniatures, and though technically I paint miniatures too, because I paint, 1/6 scale, but these guys paint the little miniatures that I can't even see. I'm talking about those beautiful men from Sweden, the Squidmar guys. If you have not seen yet their Miniature Masters series that they debuted the other day, I'm here to tell you this is a masterpiece of a series. And when I say they've done something that is super impressive, it's not just the fact that they've done a really cool thing. It's that they've kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They changed the game. Now, I respect miniature painters. I think it's really cool. But I'm not a table game player. I love Henry Cavill. And let's be honest, Henry Cavill is, the reason why so many people love Warhammer. I know it was popular before Henry Cavill made it a thing, but if we're all being honest with each other, there's a lot of nerds playing Warhammer now and painting miniatures because he said it was cool. If we're being honest with each other, that's the real deal. But I'm not interested in painting miniatures. That's not what I do, and it's not something I ever will do because my vision's too bad for that. But I still watch everything that the Squidmar guys do because they're just extraordinary in what they do. And their series that they released, they started up this week, is one of the coolest things I've seen on YouTube in a very long time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really nervous about this. Can you see this rack of stuff? You see this rack on Diana? Yeah, this is really full, and I'm nervous. I'm gonna be banging these parts up against each other, but whatever. It's just paint. So, oh, one thing about this primer from Kaleido, it's not Kaleido's fault, but it is like the exact same color as the resin that I use. So it's really hard to be able to tell what I painted and what I didn't. You said you use gray primer on skin tones. That boot's not skin tone. I know. I don't know why I painted it with gray primer. But it's done now. And we're going to make it work. And actually, that's wrong. I do know why. I just needed a minute to remember. I'm going to be painting her torso in the gray primer because I always start with gray primer on skin tones, and because I'm painting her torso in gray primer, that means I'm going to be painting the parts on her torso that are also red, and so I'm painting the boots with gray primer so that whatever I use to paint the parts on her top matches exactly, because using a different color primer will impact your final result. I know this. You know this. So why are we talking about it? I don't know if I've talked about it already, but I'm going to talk about it again now. I use Sunlu standard resin, and I do, yes, exactly what Ground Affected does. I'm sorry. I mean, to me, when that guy says something, it's gospel. I mix ABS-like into it. All right, Chris. Now I know you're trying to piss me off. I probably did miss a spot, but that's okay. That's why I said it's tough with this gray primer. Why am I not spraying the rope? It is hard to know if I've gotten all of the parts with the primer or not, because it is the exact same color. But it was like one of the first probably 5 videos that I watched from Ground Affected, and I make no secrets about it. I said this in my last live stream. Ground Affected is what exposed me to this hobby. I did not know this hobby existed until I came across a video of him painting Superman. And so that it literally changed my life. So I kind of, there's a special place in my heart for that guy. And I think it was in one of the first 5 or so videos that I saw of his where he said he uses Sunlu resin, he uses the standard, he opens up the brand new bottle and he fills up that brand new bottle, fills it up the rest of the way with ABS-like. And so when I got my first resin printer and lost my resin virginity, I was like, well, I guess that's what I'm going to do. And so that's what I've done ever since. And I've only ever used, well, I've used 2 other brands. I have used Anycubic and Uniformation. Uniformation sent me some with their printers, with the one printer. I didn't mean to make that plural. They sent me 2 bottles of ABS-like, and it was awesome. It was my very first, I lost my virginity with that primer. Did you see that fancy spin? I did that on purpose. It was great. But then again, I was so enamored with the whole concept of resin printing, like anything would have impressed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just so cool. It's like it's such a magic trick. But then after that, I was like, well, shit. I'm one of those people that when I'm painting a model, I'm printing my next one. I mean, that's just, you know, I don't want to ever be without a model to paint. And so I go through a lot of resin, quite a bit. And I'm like, $36 for one bottle? I mean, yeah, it's 1,200 milliliters or whatever. It's a little bit more. $36, come on now. Sunlu's like 12. So I've been using Sunlu ever since. The only other resins I've used was Anycubic, and that was transparent. And it was good. It worked. Atta girl, stay there. So, all right, let me get this sorted here. Primer's done. I gotta sort this out. I don't like. This is not going to work. I don't necessarily think I ever really even need to be on camera. When I really get into the painting, I won't need to be. But you couldn't help yourself. I know. And listen, I can appreciate a good ribbon now and then. I ain't going to be mad at you for it. It's funny. Good job. But anyway, did I finish with the Squidmar guys? What they have done with their miniature masters, if you haven't seen that, there's only one episode so far. I think it's going to be 8 episodes. They basically combined like Hell's Kitchen and MasterChef, 2 shows that I like a lot because I like Gordon Ramsay. I liked Gordon Ramsay before everybody watched him make scrambled eggs, and now everybody loves him. They took that concept and they incorporated miniature painting into that. And it's so fun to watch. Already with one episode, I'm already starting to like learn who the contestants are. They have 8 contestants, and you got like the one super high anxiety girl. You've got the super laid back guy from Australia. You've got the kind of, he seems like a cool dude, but the kind of arrogant, like, I'm really good at this kind of guy. And then you got I think he's Italian or he's Spanish, the guy that's just like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm just here. I suck at this, but I'm going to play because it's fun. It's like they have all the personalities, and you start to learn that really quick. Whoever edited that first episode is freaking great at their job, because you started to learn about these people. It was absolutely brilliant. And I have not seen, I'm being sincere with you, I haven't seen production quality on YouTube at that level since Mr. Beast started doing all the shit that he does. Mr. Beast doesn't make content for 52-year-old guys, but I can still respect what he does. He's very, very good. Obviously, I mean, he's like the most famous person on the planet right now. But Mr. Beast is known for next level production value. You know what I mean? He's got 150 people working for him, and whatever. The production value on this Squidmar series is at that same level. Well done, guys. I don't know those guys. I'll probably never meet those guys because they're in Sweden and I'm in North Carolina. It's kind of a long drive, but respect where respect is due. Those guys changed the game. And me, like, I'm going to tell you what my immediate reaction was the first time after that first episode. I watched it. I could not stop watching it. It was incredible. And I was just like, this is a fucking masterpiece. And I finished watching it. It was late. My wife and I are both, we go to bed late and we don't wake up with an alarm clock. So we're lucky. So I think I watched it. It wasn't done till like 12:30 or something like that. I went upstairs and the first thing I said to my wife was, I just watched a video that made me so incredibly jealous because it was that good. It's so good. And this is what I do for a living, not on this channel. And I don't think I'll ever be able to be at that level that those guys are, what they just achieved. Monumental achievement. I know it, I sound like I'm kissing ass. I have no reason to kiss ass. I don't know those guys. Whatever. I'm just giving credit where credit's due because I think what they did is spectacular. And I am a fan. I've been a fan. I know about these airbrushes because of those two Swedish dudes. And I think they deserve to be given credit for what they've done. I can't wait till the next episode comes out. I wish it was like Netflix where I could watch it all right now because I can't wait to find out like who goes home first. Spoiler alert, but it's the same thing as like Hell's Kitchen and all of that and MasterChef. Every week somebody's going to get eliminated and there's only going to be one at the end and it's going to be great. I love it. It's great. Even the judges, which the two Squidmar guys are two of the judges, even the judges, it's like you've got the one really nice guy, the one guy that's a total asshole, and then the one guy that's like nice, but he's blunt and and these are all like elite painters and it's just really cool. Well done, fellas. I love what they've done and I can't wait to watch the next one. So, but anyway, we've got everything in primer except for this, the back of this piece, and I can look at it and tell the top isn't dry yet. So that sucks because, and I got to paint the back of the shield. But other than that, I mean, the skin tones are ready. It's almost 11:30 at night. I don't think I'm going to be able to start skin today. I mean, maybe I could do a couple of layers. But I do need to check everything first because that's the one thing. My eyesight fails me big time. I notice flaws way more once I have primer on. Yeah, and I can definitely see some here. The seams on the arms turned out good. Let me switch the camera up and I'll... Okay. I got to be delicate here. So the seams on the arms turned out really good. But I need to touch some stuff up on her chest there. I got a little booger right there. That'll sand off no problem. So I don't want to start spraying skin tones right now, but that'll be the next thing that I'll get started on. And this is the unfortunate part of doing it all live. I mean, I don't have to worry about this stuff when I do this in an edited video. I can just set it to the side, go watch a ground affected video, and come back at it tomorrow. No big deal. But I don't know what more we could do tonight. I mean, I suppose. All right, let me get y'all's opinion here. Always Prime in Black. I get that movie reference, and you didn't think I would. You didn't think I would get that, Ron. I got it. That is Passenger 57 all day long. Come on, man. I don't know how old you are. I would bet all $3 that I have that you're younger than me, but that's a good pull. That's definitely a Passenger 57 reference. Here's the thing. When it comes to skin tones, this is the reason why I prime skin tones in gray. I don't like, for my models, I don't like the super dark shadows on skin tones. Plus, I don't want to just copy ground affected word for word. You know what I mean? Like, his style is incredible. And he's probably the only painter on YouTube that you could line up 10 models from 10 different YouTubers and I could pick his out. Like, because he has a very distinct style and it's amazing. But for my models, I don't like the really dark shadows. When you can catch it sometimes when you're watching his videos, when he's doing all of his detail work after the skin tones, and he'll flip it over and you'll see like the underside of the arm and it's really, really dark. He likes that. I like looking at that, but I don't want that for my models. I want my shadows to be shadows, but not like super dark. I don't want the purple palms, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that. I like my shadows to be a little bit more subtle. So maybe my stuff will never be as realistic as his is, which that's not even necessarily what I'm trying to achieve. I want you to be able to look at this and know that it's Wonder Woman. I don't care if you look at it and like, oh my God, I thought it was the real woman standing there. Like, I'm not concerned about that. I don't know that I'll ever be at that level. I think I'd be, I don't know that I would ever be able to even do that, even if I painted bigger. So I start off lighter. That's my rationale for not priming in black. Plus, I'm sorry, but I personally have never painted a model and had exceptional results and gone, it's because I sprayed a Zenithal. Like, I've never had that. I've done it. I've got like 40 models in this room that I've done. And I've done the Zenithal thing with the skins. And it's never, I'm sure it's technique. I'm sure it's my fault. But I've never had it be something that goes all the way through the entire process. Like, it just gets lost when I do that. So, to me, priming in gray, it's just kind of like the best of both worlds. The shadows aren't too dark, and you get the lighter because you don't have to Zenithal. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's a feel thing. I've been working with colors since 2004. And I've always started lighter. I've always been that person that when I was working with color painting, I would start lighter and build darker. That's just how I always did it. and it works for me. So um, I don't know. I just kind of got hooked on painting skin tones with gray. I don't know how else to explain it. But I do understand the impact that base coats has on the paints that go over top of it. So I know painting this base, priming it in black, the gold's going to look different when I put it over that than it would if it was gray. I know that. But for some reason with me, for skin tones, it's like here's what it is. Okay, this is the explanation. I finally got confident painting skin tones when I started using gray primer. That's it. That's all you need to know. Anybody that's ever tried to paint skin tones before knows, okay, I get it now. I understand. Because everybody struggles painting skins in the beginning. I certainly did. I'm still not great at it, but I'm confident at it. And I'm not scared of it anymore. I'm not like, okay, I hope it turns out good. I've got models that I did 7 months ago that the skin tones look like terrible diarrhea dog shit, like really bad. And we've all done that, haven't we? And I'm probably 7 months from now, I'm probably going to be looking at the models I'm doing now and saying those look like dog shit. You're never going to be satisfied. But back then, it was only 7 months ago, but when I started, skin tones were scary to me. Painting eyeballs were scary to me. Now I look forward to both of those. Now it's like, all right, I get to paint skin today. I get to paint the eyes today. Like, I love that part of it. It's something that it's my favorite part, both of those. But I never got there until I started priming with gray, with the skin tones. So that's all it is. Oh, Joe Provenzano left a while ago and I didn't say goodbye to him. I'm terrible at that. Ron, you're here, but at the pool hall playing pool. You should be focusing on that and not on this. You enjoy your time out there with your friends. I can promise you this. You see this behind me? That's how I get down right there. Tell me this isn't the perfect office. I've got my computer where I work all day right there. Here I've got my painting stuff. I got my dogs. I don't know if you can see them. There's one little girl right there. And then the little brown guy, he's probably blending in. You probably can't see him. 2 of my dogs, I have 4 dogs, but I've got 2 of them in here. And then I've got my dartboard. I've got a fish tank. I got a TV up here that you can't see that I don't have my PlayStation hooked up to right now. But like, this is the ultimate here. But darts, that's how I get down. My wife and I play in a dart league every Monday night. And if there's one thing I can absolutely promise you with the most of certainty, I will not be watching anybody's doll painting live streams while I'm playing darts on Monday night. So if you leave the stream, I'm not going to be upset with you. I'm going to tell you you were actually doing the right thing. So that's true, Art. You're never happy with your own work. Yeah. I mean, I can't say I'm not happy with mine. I just got done doing do I want to risk carrying him over? He's so heavy. So I'm not going to do it. I showed him in the stream last week, and I'm going to do a video showing him. I just got done doing a Kingdom Come Superman. And now I'm doing Kingdom Come Wonder Woman, and then I'm going to end up doing Captain Marvel and Batman and the Spectre here very soon. All the Kingdom Come characters. I finished this Kingdom Come Superman 3 models ago, and I find this is how you know a project is done. at least in my world, when you're sitting at your computer looking at something important, but your eyes keep doing this, and you're looking over at your piece that you've just done. My Superman, I'm a Superman obsessed guy, is on my desk, on the corner of my desk, opposite of my computer screens, and I do that. I'll be paying attention to something on the computer, and then I'll just look over at him, and I'll just be like, "What's up?" I love it. I'm really happy with it. So I don't know that I would say I'll never be happy with my work, but I will always feel like I can improve. Like, I am really happy with that Superman that I did. There might be others that would look at it and be like, that's terrible. Like, my 3-year-old nephew could do better than that. I don't think that's true. I mean, maybe your nephew is a prodigy, but, and it's certainly no masterpiece. I'm sure if Ground Effected did it, or Shelf Candy did it, or Greedy 3D, or the Creative Collector, or 3D Painter, I'm sure if they painted it, it would be better than mine. But I love it. I'm satisfied with it. And guess what? I primed his skin tones in gray. So, but you know, I see things in it and I'm like, yeah, I could have done that better. And I know now, next time, I'm going to do that better. There's a couple things on the base that I'm just like, yeah. I think I used the wrong stuff on that. I used a terrain snow effect. As a matter of fact, it's right here. The Superman that I did, that I'm talking about now, first of all, I printed him in quarter scale. I'm just going to get him. Why wouldn't I? If I end up regretting this, I'm going to be so mad. I can't even reach him. Hold on. It's not like he's fragile, but he's actually not glued onto the base. So, there's going to be a video coming out about him very soon. This is from the same studio that did the Wonder Woman that we're currently working on. Kingdom Come Superman. It's like my favorite character of all time. He's on the Fortress of Solitude. And I used this. It's not going to focus. And I'm not saying this is bad, but I don't know how well you can see it. I put it on the logo and it kind of turned red. So I might put some white paint on that, but it's just not something that I've done yet. But everywhere else where I used that on the transparent, it stayed really white and gave the exact effect that I wanted it to. But I just decided that the logo was too boring, and I was like, let me throw some of this snow on there, and I kind of regret that. But I still love it. And I feel like if I touch up the paint, I think I'll love it more. But I printed him in quarter scale, and I will not be printing any more in quarter scale, because this sumbitch is 30 inches high and 24 inches wide. He's a big bastard. That's why he's on my desk, because I don't have anywhere else where he would fit. Let me try to get him back over there in one piece. I really want to, I really need to glue him onto that base, epoxy him on there. But my concern is how to get him positioned perfectly for it to dry. I'm going to talk about this for a second, and then I'm going to get out of here because it's almost midnight. Printing that Superman in quarter scale was probably the most fun I've ever had in this hobby. I'm not kidding you. Especially when it comes to printing and painting something for me personally. When I print and paint stuff for other people, it's a blast. I love doing that. It's my favorite thing to do. Not as commissions, you know, I'm saying as gifts for people. I've got one I'm looking at right now as we speak that I'm painting for a friend right now. Anyway, that's my favorite thing in the world to do. But for me personally, like printing something specifically for me, that quarter scale Superman was the most fun I've ever had, but it was also incredibly challenging because it's so big. That's what she said, just never to me. But Superman, the cape is massive. I mean, the cape itself is 24 inches wide, or it might be 22. It's huge. So it's like, how do you paint that without getting paint everywhere? Wait for the video. That video is going to be funny because it was a cluster, you know what, painting that cape. Everything else was normal. I mean, you know, it's just the parts are bigger. But quarter scale, like The Creative Collector is a channel that I enjoy a lot. And he does everything in quarter scale. And I'm like, and sometimes even third scale, like he goes hard. And I'm just like, where's he putting all of these things? Like for him, I don't know him, but I've just watched a lot of his videos. Superman to me is the Punisher for him. At least that's what I've gathered, because it seems like he's done more of the Punisher than anything else. And man, some of them are huge. And I'm just like, that's fun. Like that has got to be a blast. But I'm in a small room. I don't know where I would put all of those. I'm already struggling to figure out where I'm going to put 1/6 scale stuff. Quarter scale, it is so much bigger than you think. And when I do the video on that Superman, I'm going to take an average 1/6 scale model like this one and put it next to that Superman, and then you'd really be able to tell, like, holy shit, that is way bigger than 1/6 scale. But with that comes challenges. I mean, and I'm going to talk about that in the video. I used like 4K worth of resin just for that one model. Yeah, there was a couple of reprints in there, but only a few small pieces. I did the whole base in transparent. That was like a ridiculous amount. When you print quarter scale and then you have gaps to fill, those gaps are way bigger than they would be on 1/6 scale. And so it's just like everything is amplified, and that can be a big challenge. But like I said, it was the most fun I've ever had as a model painter. And if I had my way, I would do everything in quarter scale, particularly Superman's, because it's just the best. Berserk, same one who did this model, just released last week a Henry Cavill Superman, which I'm really excited about because I'm a Superman guy. I would love to do that in quarter scale. If I'm going to do another quarter scale, it'll be a Superman. But the only thing is, that model, that Henry Cavill, they did a whole series of Man of Steel, the Zack Snyder Man of Steel movies. So they did the Michael Shannon General Zod, the Russell Crowe Jor-El, and then they did little baby Superman in the pod, which is awesome. I downloaded that STL too. I can't wait to do that one. if I do Henry in 1/4 scale and then the rest of them in 6 scale, that might look a little weird. But that's what I'm going to have here. I'm not doing all of the Kingdom Come models in 1/4 scale. I'm doing all of them in 1/6 scale. But I did the Superman. It's like I want Superman to stand out. So maybe I will do that Henry Cavill in 1/4 scale. I don't know. We'll have to see. But anyway, I said I was not going to work on this at all unless I was live. And I think that might have been a lie. Because I do think I have a little bit of touch-ups to do on some of these parts before we get to... Oh, that turned out really good. Particularly on the skin parts. But on the next stream, we will paint all of the gold on the base, and we'll do the skin tones on Diana. I'm not going to do the eyes and the lips and all of that at that point. I save those for the end. That's the prize. But the eyes, look at the eyes on this thing. I don't know if you can see. No, what happened here? I need to get back to my thing so I can see what you're seeing. This is one of those models where the eyes are just incredible. The eyelashes are sculpted in. The irises and the pupils and everything are sculpted in. And I particularly like that because it's easier. It's easier to know where to put them. You don't get them all wonky. But that's the grand finale for me. So I always save that for last, unless the model prevents me from saving it for last. So, but we'll paint the gold on the base and then the skin tones, and that'll be it. I mean, that's going to be a lot. That's going to be a long process. It'll be a lot more painting and a lot less talking. I know that. But it'll be fun. I don't think we'll be able to get to the red because in order to paint the red, I want to mask the skin tones. And I'm not doing that the same day or the same session as painting the skin tones. So it'll be one of those things where I paint the skin tones, let them sit until the next stream, and then we'll do the red, and then we'll do the gold, and then we'll do all of that. And it'll be the gold on Diana. I mean, this is going to be a long process. And listen, I'm not in a hurry. I never am. This is what I do to make me happy. This is what I do to escape and to unwind. And I enjoy every single minute of it. I don't normally run my mouth like this. I'm usually just sitting here working. So I'm not used to that. But if it takes 6 or 7 or 8 live streams to get this done, well, that's what it is. I don't have any set criteria for this. It's just going to get done at the pace that it gets done. But I don't know, when we get to painting, which we haven't really done yet. I mean, and I'm really shocked by this. Like, I can't believe I ran my mouth this much, but all we did was prime today. But, anybody who does this knows there's so much work to get to that point. So that's why, that happened that way. So we didn't get any paint on it today. But once we do start putting paint down, it goes a lot, it'll be a lot more action-packed. The skin tones, that's a 6, possibly 7-step process. I might add another color to my... No, not that one. I might add another color to my process for this one. but we can talk about that when we get there. But I might add more yellow to this one than I normally do. It's a work in progress. My skin tone process is always evolving, and I don't think I'll ever have that exact process. But for a female character, particularly one that has as many metallic highlights as she will have, not highlights, but metallic parts on her that are highlighted because they're metallic, I feel like she needs a little bit more yellow to her than my skin tones typically have. I don't know if that made any sense at all or not. I don't know. I can't explain color theory. It's a feel thing. I'm probably never going to be good at explaining that. It's just one of those things that I look at it and I'm like, that's going to need more yellow, or that needs more red, or that means that's too cold, that's too warm. You know, I'm not trying to act like I'm some kind of an expert, but when it comes to color, I've been working with color my entire life. So, you know, I can just tell you I think it's going to need more yellow, but I can't explain why. So, whatever. But that's it. That's what we're going to do on the next one. And I'm excited about it because I really like painting skin tones. Even though sometimes I'm like, but I think I've got a process down now to where I'm excited about it. When is that going to be? I'm thinking probably Sunday evening. Tomorrow is probably going to be a busy day, but Sunday evening, I think I got some work to do on Sunday, but then I'd probably do it in the evening. So between now and then, I'm going to work on my other models, but I'm also going to touch up a couple of spots, and then I will paint the back of this, or not paint, but prime. That way those are ready too on the next one. So it'll be fun, and it'll be more paint, less me. Less me talking. But listen, I don't have anybody to talk to about this stuff. So when I have an opportunity like this, I go crazy. I run my mouth. Sorry, but that's what happens. Let me make sure nobody's saying anything in here before I go. Use regular resin, not the UV. For what? What are we talking about? Why do I feel like I need to just hold that? Be it resin, 3D printed resin, vinyl, or plastic, longest part of the bill. Prep work, yeah, 100%. And just like anything else, whether it's painting a wall or painting a model, bad prep work leads to a bad job overall. So paying attention to those details and getting that done is vital. Never got into Zorro. Me neither. What are we talking about Zorro for? Who brought up Zorro? And Moteb. Beto? I don't know how to pronounce that. Thank you for the nice Superman. What is use regular resin, not the UV? What does that mean? What are we talking about there, KNS? I think I might have called you Chris earlier. For the Superman base? What? Use regular resin, not the UV. For what? Are you talking? What are you talking about? I'm sorry. I'm not smart. I can't figure out what. Are you talking about in a future Superman model that I do, or the one that I showed you that's already done? Like, what are we talking about here? I'm not going to reprint the base for that Superman, which looks fantastic, except for the snow on the logo is a little bit red. You said you wanted to attach it to... Need to attach him to the base. See? No, I'm going to use epoxy. In fact, it's right here. This stuff. This stuff is amazing. It's great. It dries quick. It cures quick. Dry and cure are two different things. And it's, again, something that I've used for a long time. And that model is massive. And the keys that attach him to the base are also massive, but there's only one. Because that model was designed to be a 1/6 scale. It was not designed to have the weight that quarter scale has, that a 24-inch wide cape would have. So I glued his entire body together with epoxy. I glued the cape to him with epoxy. With that same stuff I just showed you. I even glued the head on with the epoxy. Just because, you know, I did not glue the arms to him with epoxy. I just used CY glue for that. But as far as the structure of that model, it's entirely in epoxy because I wanted it to be strong enough to hold up a house. And I don't even know why I didn't glue him to the base. Like, I don't know what my thought process was there. But again, I do have to figure out how to situate him to where he's positioned properly while the epoxy dries. It only takes 5 minutes, but then, you know, it takes like a full day for it to fully cure, but it'll hold real strong after like 5 minutes. So that's what I'll do. I mean, you know, I'll epoxy it in there and figure it out. I use Devcon steel reinforced epoxy. Well, that sounds like a really fancy product that I've never tried. I'd be interested in what that is. This stuff, I mean, it's great for doing what we do. You know, my iPad has 1%. I got to figure out a way to get that plugged in. I guess I can use this. I feel like with 1/6 scale, you know, you're never really dealing with anything that's super heavy. I mean, I hollow everything. That cape is not hollowed, though. The Superman cape is not hollowed because it's so thin already. But that thing weighs a ton. I should have weighed it for dramatic effect. I should have weighed it before I glued it on. That cape is probably 5 pounds by itself. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's heavy as shit. And then, you know, fortunately, the way it attaches to him is really good. Like the way Berserk did it. There's a really big key on his back, which is great. But then, you know, you print stuff in resin, it doesn't print absolutely perfectly, so things are a little bit misaligned because they warp a little bit, and it was really difficult to get it lined up perfectly where it lined up here with his neck, and then also the way it's supposed to fit around his body and all of that. It was a challenge. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was a lot of fun, but it was a really big challenge, and that would be the only word of advice I would give to anybody that's entertaining printing quarter scale. Just understand everything is ramped up. More resin, more weight, the print time. Jesus Christ. I actually have it documented here. Let me check my computer real quick because I don't have it memorized, but I can tell you that's not the right one. Here it is. I have a note on my iMac, or on my Mac, 181 hours of print time for one model. Damn. 181 hours total. You know, it's not like the printer was running nonstop for 181 hours. But basically my process when I'm printing stuff like that is start a print in the morning, swap it out, you know, usually midday or whatever, and then put another one on at bedtime, or put the next round on and then pull those off late at night and then put another round on and let them print overnight, get up the next morning, do that process all over again. But with that model, it was like start a print in the morning and it would go all day, and then it would be done late at night, and then pull that off, put the next one on, and it would go until the morning. Like it was like everything was just double, and it was nuts. And it would be like one part. Like you start the printer in the morning for one section of his cape, and there were 7 parts just for that cape. And the gaps were a lot of fun to get those taken care of. But in total, I actually documented all of the hours that it took, 181 hours for that one model. So this one was not bad at all. Even though this base is big and it was entirely done on resin, this model was probably, I'm going to say 12, 24, probably about like 33 to 36 hours. The printers document all of that. I can get the print times and I can tell you on the next stream, but it was probably somewhere around 36 hours, and that's running 2 printers. Basically, I started it Tuesday night, pulled those 2 plates off Wednesday morning, started another 2 plates, pulled those off midday, started another 2 and pulled those off the next morning. So it was, you know, it wasn't too bad, but I consider that to be a pretty quick print. 36 hours for one printer. It's called steel epoxy on the label. I'll have to look at that. Yeah, I've never heard of that. When I was in furniture repair, I used an epoxy that was ridiculous. Like, you could hang a car upside down with this stuff. It was so strong. But it set up really fast like this stuff did. And I used it for like repairing chair legs and stuff, because everybody in the world, including me, is fat. And, you know, I don't want a chair to break that I've fixed. You know, I would want to make sure it would hold a car. Oh my God, so many houses I went into where the customer was like, yeah, I don't know why my chair's broken. And the dude's like 400 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know either. Anyway, I'm a big guy. I'm not making fun of people that are 400 pounds. I'm just saying, like, yeah, gee, I wonder why that broke. It'd be like me going in to the doctor and being like, well, I don't know why I would have high blood pressure. Like, come on. Let's be real with each other. But anyway, yeah, quarter scale's a lot of fun. Y'all are letting me run my mouth. I enjoy running my mouth about this stuff. Like I said, I never get the opportunity to talk to anybody about this thing that I love. We're sitting here waiting for paint to dry. Might as well just talk, you know, it's fun. You may be an XL of that, not big at 6. You're maybe an XL of that, you're not big at 6. Well, I'm not somebody that is, I'm not in a position to make fun of somebody for their weight, is what I'm trying to say. I think I'm doing okay at 52 though. And I've lost 20 pounds since I started painting models. It's a fact. I'm telling you the truth. Even drinking sodas and having a hobby that involves me sitting on my ass the entire time, I still have lost 20 pounds in 6 months. I am exactly 6 feet tall, and I am an XL as far as shirt size goes, but I wear 2X because they're more comfortable. But that Superman is an XL. My plan with that Kingdom Come Superman is to put a shelf behind my computer on the wall. I already have the stuff to do it. I haven't built the shelf yet. But I'm going to put a shelf right above my computer screen, and he's going to go right there, like right above me. This is the level of obsession I have with Superman. Just having him right there is, I'm a dork. I'm a big fat dork. You don't concentrate on food when you're painting. Well, that's true, but I actually think the thing for me, it's been stress. It's been less stress. I'm not pissed off all the time anymore. I don't hate the world anymore. There's still a lot of fucked up stuff going on, but I'm not like always pissed, and I'm not like that. I was that way before I found this, and this kind of brought me back to feeling good again. And so I'm more productive. I get out there and walk my dog more. I probably walk like 5 miles a day. I don't know how many miles I do. But so even though I do have a hobby sitting on my butt, I move more than I used to. But anyway, listen. But it's true, though. I mean, I'm not sitting here eating the whole time while I'm painting. And so that helps. But I sure have enjoyed running my mouth tonight. It's been fun. I absolutely wish we had gotten more done. But it's not your fault. It's my fault. This is new to me. This whole thing with live streaming, painting dolls. The whole concept is new to me. I can edit the hell out of a video, but when it comes to live streaming something like this, it's a learning process. And I think that you, the audience, would probably much prefer not seeing me, seeing the model getting painted. And that's why I feel like the next one is going to be a lot of fun, because that's all it's going to be. We're finally ready to paint. And I think what I may do, if I end up doing this again, when this model's done, if I get to where I'm going to do another one on a live stream, I think I'll get it to this point before I even start the live stream. I'll do all of the post-processing, get it all ready, get it in primer, and then start the live stream. I just feel like that'd be more fun to watch. The stream looked great. Love how you're changing the camera angles, engaging with the audience. Masterclass. Oh, come on, you're too nice. Ron, you're too nice. I appreciate that. I mean, I've been live streaming since 2015. So there was, this was not something that I was nervous to do or anything like that. It's a natural thing for me. And I mean, I've been 11 years I've been live streaming on my other channel. So, I have the tripods and the cameras and the software and all, I already have all of that stuff. The microphones. I think you use this kind of microphone too. But hey, listen. I'm being completely honest with you, Ron. The reason I have the two cameras is from watching your stream. That's a fact. That is a fact. Because I saw that and I was like, oh shit. If I'm going to stream, I definitely have to do that. Because I like the way you have the camera showing you, and then you have the one. I think you might even have three cameras. What I can't do, I think you have a camera right here, like on your desk, pointing that way, which is super smart. I can't do that because it would be weird for me. I wouldn't be able to work around it. I would almost rather have like a body cam on or something like that. My camera is right here. You can see this is my other top-down camera. It's just one of my older iPhones. But then my software that I use a software that's called Ecamm Live. And that is able to flip it so that it's not disorienting. I'm not coming at you from the top, which would be weird if you're sitting there watching it. So it flips everything, which is great. I'm so glad I found that on that software, because otherwise it would have been weird. Like everything would have felt upside down when you're watching it. But it's a very simple setup that I have here, and it keeps me free to not have things in my way. This is driving me insane right now. All the shit that I have on here. I'm normally very particular about this. This is driving me crazy. So I'm going to have to figure this out. But it's one of those things where live on YouTube, I'm not like putting everything away the way I'm supposed to and all of that. This is madness right here. I'm not used to this, but this has been fun. I've enjoyed myself, and that's the only reason why I'm doing this live stream, is to hang out, have fun, talk about what I love to do, and so I've been able to do that, and I appreciate everybody that's been here tonight. It's been tons of fun. This has been a really great stream, thoroughly enjoying it. I'm so glad to hear that. And you're great at this, so to come from you is a huge compliment. How about Spawn or Violator? Love them both. Love both characters. I'm a massive Todd McFarlane fan. But I don't know. I would do Spawn before I would do Violator. Spawn is just such a badass. But it wouldn't be high on my list, put it that way. Not for any reason, just because there's just so many other things. Wicked, for fuck's sake, I'm sorry to use this language. Wicked freaking did it yesterday. That studio, it's like they read my goddamn mind. I don't understand how they do this. They released like 2 weeks ago that Michael Jackson, which I've already printed it. I mean, I'm so excited about doing that, and I don't care if you don't like it. I've been a Michael Jackson fan since birth. And then yesterday, they announced freaking Elvis. Are you fucking kidding me? A unbelievable representation of Elvis from 1973. Oh my God. Wicked is elite. If you're not a patron of Wicked, I get nothing from them for telling you this. I'm just telling you this because it's true. If you paint models like me, one after the other, after the other, after the other, if you're not following Wicked, then I'm sorry, you're doing this wrong. Because they're so good, and they come out with the coolest stuff. It takes some getting used to. It definitely does. I'm honored to have been a part of any kind of inspiration for you, John. Thank you. Well, you know what? It's true. I this is the God's honest truth. I didn't think anybody was doing this until I saw your channel. And what I mean is painting models on live streams. I had the idea, I don't know, it was a couple of months ago, and I was dumb enough to think it was like an original idea. Like, I haven't seen anybody doing that. And then you commented on that Ozzy Osbourne video, and I was like, well, let me check out his channel. And I saw that you were doing it, and I was like, damn it, it's not my idea. But it seemed like it was something that you enjoyed doing. I asked you about it. You said you did enjoy doing it. No, and so, you know, that does have a lot to do with why I'm doing it. It's like, that looks like fun. The first one I watched was when you were doing that Daredevil. I think you recently finished it. Turned out fantastic, by the way. And I'm also a big fan of, well, the older Daredevil stuff. And I'm pretty sure I have that exact same STL downloaded. No, the one I have is the one where he's like this. He's wiping his mouth. It's Wicked. Shocker, Wicked, of course. But they did him and Kingpin, the Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin, and the Frank Castle. And I downloaded all three of those. Because why wouldn't I? I'm a member of theirs, so. But yeah, you did that black suit Daredevil, and that was really cool. I like that a lot. Thanks for sharing your hobby. My favorite characters as a kid were Punisher and Daredevil. Oh, well, here I am talking about them right now. I love both of those characters very, very much. I think that the new Daredevil, Born Again, is kind of boring, if I'm being honest with you. When it was still on Netflix, that's when they were doing Punisher. That's when they were doing Daredevil right. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but the way they started Born Again was like, why? Why would you do that? It's like The Last of Us Season 2, or The Last of Us 2, the video game. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But I love that character, and I love the Punisher character. The Punisher, like, I love the Punisher character. I loved the old Punisher movies. I love John Bernthal as Punisher. I think he is absolutely perfect. He is as perfect a casting as Robert Downey Jr. is as Tony Stark. I mean, the perfect Frank Castle. And one of my favorite STLs that I have right now that I have not printed, I know this is going to be a shock. Try to control yourself. Contain yourself here. Buckle up. It's another Wicked model. It's a quarter scale bust. I don't normally do busts. I've never done a bust. But it's the quarter scale, which all of their busts are quarter scale, of Frank just staring down at the ground, and he has that giant rifle over his shoulder. It's beautiful. It's so nice. And I'm going to have to do that at some point soon, because that's my favorite Punisher model that I've seen. But I think I have 3 Punisher STLs, because I think there was one in the Wicked Welcome Pack, and then there's been 2 since then. Like, they just released one last month, I think it was, the Born Again Punisher. But anyway, good grief, people are going to bed on me and everything else. Curtis, good seeing you in here, brother. Lisa told me today, and I was really sorry to hear that. So I'm thinking about you, and it's really cool of you to be here. I know you're not really interested in this stuff, so it means a lot that you would be here, especially with what's going on right now. So thank you for being here tonight. And thank everybody else too, because this has been a blast. I've enjoyed myself, and I could literally keep talking for 3 more hours, but I'm not going to do that because I have to go walk my dog again. It's 12:20, and I got to go walk my dog at night in rural North Carolina. I hear lots of noises out there, and some of them are scary. But she's a good-sized dog. She'd take care of me. I got my knife on me. I'm prepared. But I've heard some stuff. And in fact, I did a video about it. I was on the KG Tropicals channel. I was walking my dog in the middle of winter, and there was a dog off in the distance barking that sounded exactly like the werewolf in the beginning of American Werewolf in London. And I pulled my phone out and I videoed it, and I kind of reenacted that scene. It's really stupid, and nobody saw it, but it was so funny to me because it sounded exactly like that sound. If you've seen American Werewolf in London, you know the way that werewolf sounded when Jack and David are walking through the moors, and you hear that in the background. I can't even try to replicate that howl. It was so distinct and so unique to that movie, and it was just like piercing. I don't know. That dog sounded exactly like that. It was wild. But look out for that wolf. Yeah, that's another one too. I wish somebody would do a really good American Werewolf in London model. Just do all the Rick Baker stuff. That'd be awesome. But anyway, but I guess I'm nobody. What does that mean? Don't you say, look out for that. Oh, don't you say you're a nobody. Anybody that's been in here hanging out with me is somebody that I appreciate very much. I think my wife has probably had this playing in the background the whole time she's been doing whatever she's been doing tonight. But, you know, she probably feels obligated to do that. But no, I appreciate everybody that's been here tonight, especially when it's not been a lot to see. But there'll be a lot to see next time. And I sure would love it, and I should have asked a lot sooner, and somebody may have even said something about it. I would love to get people's input on that gold, but I guess it's too late for that now. So, I'm gonna figure that part out. I might need to make a trip to Virginia Beach tomorrow or something. We'll have to see. But anyway, it's been fun. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself here tonight. More action, less talking. That's an Elvis song. Not those exact words, but a little more action next time. And it'll be fun. We'll paint some skin, and we'll paint some gold, and that'll be that. So thank you all for hanging out with me. Appreciate it very much. For my first real live stream, this was amazing. It was a lot of fun. So thank you for making it amazing, and I will see you on the next one. Right now I'm going to say Sunday night. I think it'll be Sunday night that we'll do this again. And we'll start making Diana look like Diana. So I think I can push this button right here, and it will be.